Montreal, Quebec, Canada, August 8, 1992, Olympic Stadium. Metallica was co-headlining the Guns N' Roses Metallica Stadium Tour. This would be a night that Metallica would never forget. Hello everyone and welcome back to another Rock Doc on Rockfeed. Please be sure to subscribe so that way you get all of our latest Rock Docs and news. Prior to the start of the show, Metallica's pyrotech had advised everyone that the pyro was going to be on the outside wings of the stage when they played Fade to Black. However, what the stage technician didn't mention was that it was in addition to the pyro that was already in place. As Kirk begins to play that infamous intro, all of a sudden the pyrotechnics go off, engulfing James Hetfield in a huge ball of fire. How did such a horrible mistake happen? Well, as mentioned previously, the technician had failed to inform the band the regular pyro would also be going off in addition to the new setup. In the VH1 Behind the Music Metallica interview, James says, "During Fade to Black, I'm up there playing the part, and these colored flames are going off. I'm a little confused on where I should be. I walk forward, I walk back. The pyro guy doesn't see that I've walked back out there. Whoosh! A big colored flame goes right up underneath me, and instantly I squint and turn. I'm burnt, my arm, my hand, completely down to the bone. The side of my face, hair's gone, part of my back. Then I look down, watching the skin rise, all these things going wrong. That big colored flame was actually a 12-foot tall torch of fire that burned at 3,200 degrees. Similar to the combustion temperatures for rockets.
Set promising the crowd it would return to play a makeup show, and Hetfield was taken to a nearby hospital for treatment.
There was an incident with the pyrotechnics. Unfortunately, James is on his way to the hospital right now, and we're very sorry, but we can't continue the concert for you guys tonight.
Jason Newsted explained that James looked like the Toxic Avenger. Kirk ran over to James and asked, "Are you okay?" Kirk said that James raised his hand and he was shaking. Kirk said, "I could literally see the skin bubbling." Lars then runs over and tries to help James when a security guard runs over and bumps into James's hand. Hetfield later recalls that he had punched the guard right in the nuts. Once they were able to get James on his way to the hospital, Lars comes out to address the confused and angry crowd. There was an incident with the pyrotechnics. Unfortunately, James is on his way to the hospital right now. We're sorry, but we can't continue the concert for you guys tonight. But we promise you one thing from Metallica. You know that we are always good by our words. We will come back and finish our concert and play again for you as soon as we can within the next couple of months. Thank you, Montreal. We're sorry, okay?" Once James got to the hospital and doctors were able to look him over, they discovered that Hetfield had suffered second and third degree burns on his arms. James recalls the situation saying, "I was in shock. The nerves felt like they were exposed. My hand looked the worst. It bubbled up in 2 layers that came off. It was pretty much the worst pain I have ever felt." Doctors ended up having to cut off the rest of his clothes and even sawed off his ring on his left hand. In order to try to keep him comfortable, they gave him some morphine. After a lengthy 2-hour delay due to Axl Rose not wanting to take the stage until their scheduled time, Guns N' Roses finally comes out after the crowd had become very upset and pretty restless. To make matters worse, the stagehands weren't able to properly change over all the monitors, which resulted in the band not being able to properly hear themselves. After playing 9 songs, Axl quits the show, telling the crowd it's due to a faulty sound system, and advising everyone there, in case anybody here is interested, this will be our last show for a long time. Well, at that point, the crowd had had enough. The audience started rioting, turning over cars, smashing windows, looting stores, and setting fires. Local authorities had a hard time bringing everyone under control. The next day, Hetfield gets released from the hospital, but had to begin a very painful therapy session, where his wounds would be cleaned and then redressed. At that point, he would then have therapists working with him on an exercise program in order to regain movement in his nerve-damaged arm. However, just 17 days later, Metallica was back at it again, playing their first show at the Phoenix International Raceway in Phoenix, Arizona on August 25th, 1992. Due to Hetfield's second and third degree burns, he had to wear thick finger to elbow bandages, and he wasn't able to play guitar until he had fully become healed. Luckily, Metallica did have a temporary replacement in metal church guitarist John Marshall. When People magazine asked about being back on stage for the first time since the incident, Hetfield recalled, "When I went back for the first time and those flames went up, my heart raced. It's like when you're a kid. If something scares you, you gotta go do it anyway. I learned from it. It's the Metallica way." Speaking of the Metallica way, the band did keep their promise and returned to Montreal the following year and played 2 back-to-back shows on February 12th and February 13th, 1993. Thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more awesome Rock Feed videos.